do I admire the most? There's a lot of people that I admire. But I think, and it's not like I admire one person the most over the next person. I admire my mom the most, actually. My mom's not here anymore. She passed away last year. And the thing that I admire about my mom is her resilience in life. This lady, she was in her 60s, almost 70, and she worked here in the States to build her house back home in Samoa. And so that was probably the thing that I admire the most about her. And just being Samoan and an older Samoan woman working out here in the States, but also like with the very little English that she has. But yeah, she was able to go to work. And during her funeral, a lot of her coworkers came and they spoke about her in that manner where, even though she was older than them, but she literally does not come home. Like, she was working so much overtime just to build her house in Kukuila. So, and she built her house. It's there. And none of her kids are there to really enjoy the home that she built. She only got to enjoy her home for like a few years, and then she passed away because of cancer. But yeah, that's the thing that I admire the most about her. And my mom is a very loving woman. And I think her love for people and maybe, was also the thing that is her downfall. So yeah, that's why I really, really admire my mom. And I think one of the things that my sisters and I carry, and that's something that the trait that we took from her is her resilience, in life. And we're very hardworking women. We're very independent as well. All of her kids are very independent. We get that from her.
Mine is similar because I admire my mom too for raising us up by herself. All nine of us herself. But now, my family now is I admire the love of my life, the thing that she provide for us, for our family, for me to be able to go as a full-time streamer and do the things that I do. Um,
Yeah.
she put in a lot of time and effort into raising a family.
What is social media affecting our kids in a good way? Honestly, that is actually a very good question. Be honest with you, I don't think it's affecting our kids in a good way because social media has opened up something where they should never, a lot of our kids are now privy to the information that's out there in the world, right? A lot of the negative things that happens. Um, you don't need social media to learn things about life, but now because you have your parents, you have people that have gone through life to be able to learn about life. But I think social media has opened up something that and actually kind of expedited their life, expedited their knowledge about life, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. The knowledge that they have about life, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think, as a child, you should be able to go through every step of your life in the age that you're in. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be expedited to know all these things about the world. And I'm so grateful that I wasn't raised in this generation because, I'm grateful that I learned the older I get is, whatever was, I don't know, was available to us at that age. Like, I learned as I go, but now everything is expedited. Like, you kids are so privy to so much information in the world that I don't think that it's good for them. I don't think it's benefiting them at all. You know, if there was no social media, but the internet is still there, that's still a good thing. But now with social media, there's so much information out there that they should never, never, ever learn about. But also keep in mind that you as a parent have control of your child. Like, you don't have to buy them the next best thing that's available to the world. You don't have to buy them an iPhone, any of these devices that we have now. You have control of your own children. With all of that access, now they know too much. You know what I mean? But I feel like as a child, they should learn as they go in what am I trying to say? I don't think that children should understand the things that they know now. It's way more advanced than when we grew up. But you're right. The great thing about that is now they know that information. But the problem with that is, all of the information is all mixed in together. So now they know everything, so much more, but I'm watching my nephew who's 4. He just turned 4, and I'm with the technology that's out there. I'm like, how does this little boy know how to do all these things, right? Yeah. I'm like, it's so crazy to me. Like his brain is so quick to know how to do these things. That's the great thing about technology. But as far as social media goes, I don't think that our kids should be ever be tap into the information that's out there on social media, because it's more so dangerous for them. I don't think it benefits them at all. Technology, yes. Social media, absolutely not. So those are the two things that I think about when we're talking about the advancement of technology. Absolutely, yes, because it's great. Now they know things, right? But when it comes to social media, I don't think that our children should be allowed, especially at a very young age. There has to be an age where, when they get to a certain age, yeah, of course, but at this time where you still have some control of your children and what you allow them to see, I think that you should just make them not ever come on TikTok, for example, because on this app alone, there's so much that are all just mixed in together, and I don't think that it's benefiting them at all. That is my kids are my daughter is an adult and my son is 16, so it's too late now. If I did, the way I'm thinking now is I wish that I had, I control that part of their lives, but it's kind of too late now. They know what's out there.
So I mean, social media to me, social media is good. Yeah, it's gonna be good, and there's bad too. Talking about my kids have Kilty in the chat. She just bought them phones, and they play. Yeah,
They know
they're 8. They're about to be 9, and mommy went and got them iPhones. Now, most of the time, they play their games with the Roblox and stuff, so I can hear their chat, who they're talking to. So I always question who's that, because I don't know who's on at the other side of their phone. So I always get in to make sure that they're fine. We try our best. Social media is good and there's bad too. So we should figure out. We just need to balance it out. We can't really control everything, but we can just control whatever we can and do the best we can.
It's very true. No matter how much we try to control our kids being exposed to social media, it's out there. And I think that's the way I see it now. I'm like, even if I tried to back then, my kids go to school and they're going to be on it. They have friends who have friends who have friends. They're going to be on their friends' devices, just like you, Charlie, where your kids now have cell phones. I think that was the age that I gave my daughter her cell phone. But yeah, I mean, we can try, but it's out there.
If you could go back and change your biggest mistake, would you?
If I could go back and change my biggest mistake, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change any mistakes in my life, and I'll tell you guys why. If I didn't go through those things, had I never gone through those things and had I never made those mistakes, I don't think I would be the person that I am today. I always, and this is something that I think about a lot. I always think to myself, what if I had never gone through, my marriage and then my divorce, would I be the person that's sitting in front of you right now? I'd still be making the same mistakes in my life. And so the things that we go through in life that I think at that moment you think of it as a mistake, nothing is ever a mistake. Your life is the way it is. It's because if you are a Christian, I'm a Christian. I wholeheartedly believe that my steps are ordered by God, and everything that I go through was meant to be that way to make me a better person. It's never it's not the other way around. But yeah, I learned so much about from about my life, from the things that I had gone through. I don't look at it as mistakes anymore. I just look at it as lessons, right? Everything that we go through is a lesson. So it's a lesson. I don't regret it. And I also teaches you about patience, and also teaches you to love, to love people differently. Yeah, like the way I love people now, it's very different than the way I was before. So no mistakes here, just lessons. Lesson.
Just like what Sola said, to answer the question is ask if you like where you at right now. So that's why when people come back to my live, and ever since I start coming back to live, and people say like, "Hey, look at you, you're getting fat again." And and I said, "Hey, everything's good over here. I'm happy over here. Life is good.
You're welcome, Sia.
Life is good over here on this side."
It's life. Even I'll tell you guys a story about my children, right? There was something that recently happened with my kids, but the greatest lesson in that, it allowed me to be a better mom, because I'm a single mom. I raised my kids by myself, and I had kicked both of my kids out. Like, and and I'm telling you guys this now on here because, these are things that when I look at it at that moment, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a mistake that, and I was beating myself up for it. But the greatest lesson in that is it brought me and my children closer, because it was, yeah, because they're grown now. And of course, I'm trying to tell my adult daughter to do things a certain way, and she's like, I'm an adult, even though she lives under my roof. So there was a lot of pushback from her son. Of course, he's in that age group where he's a teenage boy now. So there was a lot of pushback from my son as well. But the greatest lesson in that is us coming together and learning together, like learning how to navigate me as their mom, because I'm the mom, but I'm the disciplinary, I'm everything. But yeah, it's all lessons, right? Nothing is ever a mistake. I noticed that my daughter wasn't coming to church a lot. She was just doing her own thing. But now, after I kicked her out, now she's like, Mom, I'm coming to church every Wednesday, every Sunday. There's no more excuses. So, that's the greatest thing about that. So, like I said, never a mistake. It's always a lesson. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to ask
Wow.
a question for us? Because
There's a lot of them. Now they're gonna deal with us if we're gonna keep this going. Now they're gonna deal with us. We're gonna be on social media. Hey, hello. Somebody say hello.
I've done these things in a long time, you guys. You can ask him. I have not done like Q&As on lives, and I usually do this.
I
Oh, Lonnie, this guy and his questions, 100 men versus one. That's not even a question.
wait. What kind of men we talk about? Salmon man or like how we talk about palangi?
Let's not discuss that. That is not something that I want to discuss right now. Let's talk about something.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, Victory. Come on, go with the flow. This is what we came on live to do this.
What do you want me to say about
Yeah,
100
100 man versus one gorilla. I am the gorilla and the other 100 men. Who's gonna win?
100 men versus one gorilla? That is crazy talk. It depends on the size of the gorilla, though, right?
Silverback. We're talking about silverback because you're looking at the silverback. You're looking at silver big back.
I don't want to stay here with this guy talking about that. It depends on the man, right? Right.
You guys are looking at the silver like the silver big back on the street.
Nice.
What do you think? Who's gonna win?
Definitely not the men.
Come on. Are you gonna answer or no?
There's no chance. There's no chance that 100 men will win. No chance.
If I'm that 1% of 100, yes, there is a chance. There is a chance we can beat the gorilla. Oh my!
Guys, have you guys been watching the case, the Diddy case?
It doesn't really matter. It has nothing to do with my life. It's not gonna affect my life, my normal life. Like whatever Diddy did, that's what he did. It has nothing to do with me.
What's the most important characteristic you look for in a partner?
Well, there's no one specific thing that you gotta look for.
Most important, she said.
There's so many. Because let me tell you something. When you go into a relationship and you're looking for that one thing and you can't find it, what if you end up like you go with 10 different partners and you can't find that one thing? Then what, right? That's why it's better to go in as like open-minded and understand the person, whatever what they like to do. Just like me and my fucking Aulu in the chat. We always pump forehead. So we still a lot of room to grow and stuff like that. So I think I would say communication like on top of the list. Communication is up there. So yeah, you can't really focus on one thing because by the time you got that thing down, your ship is upside down, and you're trying to flip it back. But
Good answer.
yeah,
Good answer. But I think, so just recently,
yeah.
I made a video that I am now open to the idea of being remarried again. So I've been divorced and separated from over 15 years now. How old is my son? Oh, no, no, no. My son is 16. So I'd say about 13 years, 13, 14 years. And I'll tell you the thing that I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that's not going to, I'm looking for someone that adds value to my life. Now, I was talking and kind of sort of dated someone for about 3 months, and it didn't work out because I'm very, there are certain things that when I don't like it, I don't want it. And they're kind of major to me. You know, when I tell somebody, hey, these are the things that I don't like, and you still do it, that's a red flag. And I think for me, there's not one thing that's more important than the other. I think everything collectively is important to me. Like your honesty is important to me. Your communication is important to me. Listening comprehension is very important. So when all of those, especially people doing things to try and push my buttons or try to test me, things like that. When people do that, then I know that, this person is not here for the right reasons. And I had to end that relationship real quick. And it's no harm, no foul, no hard feelings for me. I don't care. When the relationship is over, it's over. So yeah, I'm open to the idea of being remarried again now. I wasn't open to it these past years, but it's right so far. It's not looking very bright.
It's looking.
It's looking
It's
like it's looking like I'm gonna be toxic again. But no,
giving. It's giving.
it's giving. We're never gonna get anywhere.
It's giving like you're gonna single for the rest.
It's giving. I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's giving DD. guys, guys, if you have church members that is single, send it over here. Send it over.
Mind your business. Comprehension is key. They're talking about comprehension
Yeah.
because you can communicate. That is very true. You can communicate. This is why I said how I communicated to this person. Hey, these are the things that I don't want you to, these are things that I don't like. And yet you still do it. Like, lack the comprehension. There's communication, but there's no comprehension.
Yeah.
How have you shown up for yourself lately? Girl, I've been going to the gym. My gym. That's the thing that I started last year. Really taking care of my health. I started going to the gym, like really serious about it last year in October. And so I have a whole Facebook page that is dedicated just to my weight loss, and I've been doing so great. I lost so much weight. And not just that, I feel a lot better, a lot of mental clarity. But yeah, so much mental clarity when it comes to me going to the gym. And I love because it's my time for myself. I also, I have a lot of friends. I have limited my time just talking to people that I know that I love them, but I will love them from a distance. I don't need to talk to them all the time. And also limiting my time on social media as well. That is something that I do for myself because putting yourself out there. If you guys don't know this, I my Facebook page as well, there's a lot of my videos on there that go viral, and sometimes it does affect my mental health when I see a lot of the comments. So I try to limit myself from reading the comments, limiting myself from posting. And that's fairly new that I stopped posting so much content. I love myself too much to go through what I had to go through and what I had to endure on social media. There's a lot of bullying on social media and just people not being very nice. So that's how I show up for myself. Limit every single thing except for going to the gym.
Are you happy?
Oh.
I am very happy.
Huda, is he happy?
I am always happy. Trust me. We are a happy family here. Are you hungry? Yeah, make sure he's actually really hungry.
But I'm
Okay.
not that
If you're gonna participate in one of these art events, what would it be?
Sia ask, what's your big
Oh, yeah. See, I asked first. Hold on. What is the question?
what's your biggest fear in life?
Losing my family and especially my kids. Those kids are everything to me.
Yeah, I believe you.
What about you?
I don't really have any fears.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't really have any fears because you've been working in churches lately.
No, I don't fear anything. I'll tell you guys. Charlie, hold on, I'm gonna beat him up for you. I'll tell you guys why. I'm Christian, and I'll tell you guys all the time. Throughout this whole life, I'll remind you guys that I am a Christian. I do not fear anything. When my mom passed, this is a perfect example of this question. When my mom passed, everybody was crying I literally cried for my mom for about 30 minutes. Right when I got the news, I just got into work that day. I got the phone call, "Hey, you need to come to the hospital. Mom passed." And I work for the hospital where she was at. So drove there. I was like literally 5 minutes away. Got to the hospital, but I cried for 30 minutes. But the reason why I didn't cry so much is because my mom accepted Jesus before she died. And so she accepted Jesus as her Lord and Savior. And to me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my mom going. I didn't have any fear that, oh my God, my mom is gone. Life is going to be different. No, life is not different. I don't fear that she's gone. I know exactly where my mom is at. But having that comfort, you know, I am comforted by the Holy Spirit that whatever happens in my life, I should never fear, right? Some people will say, I fear death. I do not fear death. If it happens to me, I'm okay. I will be okay. And is nothing in this world that will ever bring me fear. I'm not afraid of people as well. Like there are so many people on here that try to put fear in me, especially from the men, because if you guys come on Facebook, they're so not nice to me, and I'm not afraid of them. I just speak my mind. So no, I don't have any fears, even for my children. I always believe that God has His protection over me and my children, so we're good. We're good.
Well, thank you for sharing.
What's the most important lesson you took from a past relationship? Don't do it again.
There you go.
Don't do it again, girl.
And that's it.
Backpedal. Now, there is a caveat to that, right? I say don't backpedal. But if the relationship in the from your past was a great relationship, but something happened in life where it put a damper on that relationship, and you know in your heart that you guys can work it out and make it work again, go for it. I don't think that we should limit ourselves from that. If you know that that relationship was a great relationship, something happened along the line that, not something like infidelity but I say all that to say this, right? You can forgive people. People can move on from that. People can change, but it's really up to you and how you foresee. Only you know the relationship that you're in. But yeah, the one thing that I learned from my relationships in the past is don't repeat the same mistake. and don't backpedal. That's for me. There's not a relationship that I have in my past that I will ever go back to. Um, and not for anything, I think they're. Do you guys believe that many people are a lot of these people are good people? They're probably just not good with you or me. You know what I mean? Like, they're good people. They're great, amazing people with other people. But when they're with me, they're not. So that's how I believe, I think that once I move on, I move on. I cry so often because of guilt. Why?
So sorry to hear that, Lani. I have a question for you, Victory.
Here we go. This guy.
No, my question for you, why did you change your name from Rosalina to Victory?
Because that is my prophetic name. One of the pastor's wives gave me that name. How old is my daughter? Over 20 years? No, well, actually, no, hold on. She's 23. So she was about 3 or 4 when I got that name. So maybe like 20 years ago, I got that name. So once I went back into the ministry that I'm in now, I said I was going to use my name again. And a lot of the people that I was in ministry with back in the days, they don't know my name as Rosalina. They only know me by Victory. That's it.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more about that, but
No, she prophesied the name over me, so I just took my name back.
nice. I think that's why we became friends. Because when you start doing your live, see, that's why I always push you to do this kind of live or do a podcast. Because you used to sit down and talk and share about, your belief and stuff like that. And usually just a lot of people listen to your live and follow your life. But for some reason, you put your faith and your heart to the wrong person, and next thing you know, you're gone.
I'm over here telling him how amazing he is, and he's over here telling
No, no, I'm just saying. I'm
parents raising their children, both parents, right? I'm such an advocate for that because children, no matter what, they need to see that even if it didn't work out with me and their father, right? I'll take myself for example. Even if it didn't work out between me and their dad, I was pushing for that to happen. Doesn't matter what happens to me to my relationship with their dad, but I really, really wanted uh, their dad to be involved in their lives, but that didn't happen. And I don't. I try to be as positive as I could, and think to myself, you know, maybe he's going through something that I don't know, right? Maybe he's fighting his own demons that I don't know about. So I try to be positive when I think of him that way. But if it was the old me be like, never mind. But no, big ups to you guys for raising your children. That's amazing. But hey, the one thing that as parents, you must understand that there's no guide for us as parents, right? We learn as we go. So just like our parents, they learned as they go and they learned from somebody else. So don't beat yourself up. Whatever you go through with your with your girls, just know that it's just one of those things, right? You learn from it. If you did it right, yes, amen to that. Break the cycle. If you did it one way and didn't work out, then hey, come up with another way to do it. There's always a solution to all of these things. So don't beat yourself up, parents.